Yeah, thank you again. So today we're going to show the second part of our masterclass. Again, we will show our footage and our production process of 2 videos in a chronological way. And I think we just start, right? Okay. Enjoy.
Woher kommst du? Woher kommst du denn? Und was bist du? Und was bist du eigentlich? Bist du Aggression in sehr subtiler Version? Fehlschlag, Missgunst, Ablehnung. Formst du zu Verweigerung? Ich folge dir ins Exil. Wohin, warum? Das weiß ich nicht. Aber ich weiß, die Emigration geschieht zum Schutze meiner Person. Meiner Person. Woher kommst du? Woher kommst du denn? Und was bist du? Und was bist du eigentlich? Du bist wie der sechste Sinn und ich bin die Erzählerin. Fehlschlag, Missgunst, Ablehnung. Formst du zu Ermächtigung? Du bist eine Vorahnung und du willst Bestätigung. Du bist der sechste Sinn und ich bin die Erzählerin.
Okay, now we show you some of the process for the music video Woher Kommst du by the music group from Hamburg, Ja König Ja.
Exactly, and Ja König Ja means yes, king, yes. And like in the other videos, we also collaborated with the musicians to produce the artwork.
Which are Ebba Durstewitz and Jakobus Siebels. Jakobus Siebels is, you know him from yesterday, if you've seen, is also part of Die Vögel and is also a painter and did this collage for us for the music video. Here you can see, I don't know if you can recognize, but see, this is their album cover called Emanzipation im Wald.
Emancipation in the Woods.
Yeah. And you can see Ebba's and Jakobus' dog, which is called Harry, and he's part of the band as well. And now you can see the
So here's Harry as well in the
yes,
collage.
mimicking with a collage of cards.
So Jakobus produced the this collage. We just made a copy of the original, so he really cut it out maps and glued them together and gave us the footage for us for the video. And Ebba is actually, besides a musician, she's also a curator and a writer, and she wrote a text about the song. And because the lyrics are in German, we thought it's nice to translate it quickly so you get an idea of what the song is about. So, Woher kommst du means where are you from? And contrary to what the title and chorus suggests, the song does not ask about the origin of a special person, but about the origin and essence of music, and thus implicitly of art in general. The singing self does not see itself here as a creator of a music work, but rather as a recipient in a grateful exile who finds refuge in the musical space, in the words of the song and in the creative material which is found here.
So it's basically a song about art or creativity. But for the visuals, we took the question, where are you from, literally, and we worked with maps and with cards. And we took a look at our Dirke Weltatlas. That is something that we had in school, and I guess every student stole one from the school, but I did. I think I can commit it now. And then we and and we took a look at cards and maps, and we found different maps and aspects they show. We found political maps showing borders of nations, physical maps, tectonic maps, climate cards, agriculture, industry, population and transport are being displayed, or even historical maps, maps of the earth, the ocean, there's maps of the moon and even the sky. And we found soil maps showing mineral resources, like this map. This map shows the soils and the resources in Central Africa.
So yeah, what did we do with these maps? We actually cut them in pieces and made collage out of it. And the first aspect were a topographic focus. So we cut out landmarks like rivers, cities, countries, and rejoined them. So in a way to build a new world. And yeah, so imagine in that world, Hamburg would be in Venezuela, and the River Nile would run through Sydney, and the Bahamas would be in the Baltic Sea, and then the Baltic Sea would be in the Indian Ocean.
Yes. And for the second approach, we concentrated on formal aspects like the graphics, the colors, and the forms of the maps. And we kind of ignored the information that we messed up on the first approach and put together portraits of the band members, for instance. This is Jakobus, one of the band members. This is Harry, you've already seen him in the beginning, the dog. And there's Ebba, made of soil maps, right? And those elements became part of our video.
Yes, and then for the third layer, we again filmed the musicians like we did in Fratzengulasch and Ich verblühe already, the portrait of the musicians, and then we merged them with the landscapes. So we tried to have like landscapes in their faces.
And we let them do some lip sync like we did at Fratzengulasch for the first time. And actually this video was, this was a lot of work with the collages itself, but we did a lot of work in the computer as well, layering and compositing all these things together. And we actually played a lot with the dynamics of fore and background, because if you take a round mat like we used in the beginning, a car turns into a world and or a planet, and suddenly we have something like fore and background that we used, and like the cards are some plans or schemes of the world, and we found some other order systems or visualizations of order systems like maps of the stars, technical drawings, and we've already seen this with Janine. She liked diagrams and formulas as well, she said in the last film it was, I guess, and math equations, and just looking at them by not knowing what they mean at all, but finding a beauty in this, in order systems. And yes, so this was an element for the video as well. Something could be something with winds, and I think this is a polka quote actually.
Yeah, so making maps of the world also means like actually trying to understand the world or measuring the world and getting an overview how things work and relate to the world. So yeah, I think we can show the film now, right? Okay.
Wanderung, ich folge dir ins Exil. Wohin, warum, das weiß ich nicht, aber ich weiß, die Emigration geschieht zum Schutze meiner Person. Meiner Person. Woher kommst du? Woher kommst du denn? Und was bist du? Und was bist du eigentlich? Du bist wie der sechste Sinn und ich bin die Erzählerin. Fehlschlag, Missgunst, Ablehnung formst du zu Ermächtigung. Du bist eine Vorahnung und du willst Bestätigung. Du bist der sechste Sinn und ich bin die Erzählerin.
Richard von der Schulenburg is a Hamburg musician as well, and he uses his initials for this project. Here you can see the album art, and the album is called Moods and Dances.
Yeah, it's called Mood and Dances, and the music is inspired by library music. Library music is from the 60s and 70s.
It's a kind of, yeah, it was not published by a record label, but uh, was stock music that could be sold, and you could, but it had no promotion for record stores or anything, and for it was highly functional, but it was also very free as well. So they are very commercial pieces that got ran in TV shows or sports shows or anything. But nowadays you can look at that and find really experimental pieces, and
Yeah, it's kind of like an archive as well, right? Like a sound.
it's archive music.
It's
right.
archive music, yeah.
And that's the way it was structured. And
Yeah, and Richard von der Schulenburg was inspired by that music, and also he used like old synthesizers for his music, like the Moog or the Yamaha, and the Roland, and all the names of the album are also inspired by those old synthesizers. Like here, the song Mrs. Yamaha Summer Tune, so the Yamaha is in the name of the song.
of our song, of this song that we were working on.
Exactly.
So for this video, we worked with postcards as a material. And we looked at the postcards and we thought, what are postcards? Postcards are an old-fashioned way of communication. Postcards are greetings sent back home to our friends and families. Postcards do not have a lot of space for writing text, because postcards are mainly pictures, pictures of desires. Iconic places, buildings, beaches, streets, people, nature, and moments. And the author of a postcard is often unknown. Postcards are stock pictures, just like library music. And postcards are memories inside a box on the attic. Postcards are an archive of post trips and vacations. Postcards are proof that you've been somewhere, a trophy. Postcards represent a collective memory. And old postcards can be bought at a low price at eBay now. And that's what we did.
And also postcards were really different to us in times of Corona. Sitting at our studio in Hamburg and working with those postcards, it was kind of traveling in our mind to those places where we couldn't go.
We found that there's different genres of postcards. So we have the mountaintops.
And the other topic you could find is the sunset. One of my favorites is the white snow mountain. So after collecting a lot of postcards, we thought, okay, we would like to work with postcards, but also we have these genres, and again, we would like to rearrange them or like put them together in groups and make something like a surreal landscape maybe, or just discovering discovering the topics or discovering the personality even of a postcard.
Or sometimes we saw them as a window to the world, and we tried to put this world together in a way. Okay, this one's different. This could be, I can see, this is a collection of postcards that has multiple pictures in pictures modes with typography on it.
So this is Strasbourg. It's always the same church in Strasbourg. We actually bought them all together on eBay, right? Like there was this one package with all of them at once.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, this is the holiday, the ski holiday, collective memories of the ski holidays.
Okay.
So one artist who inspired us doing the video is John Stasaker. He's from England, and he started as a conceptual artist, but then he more got into images and created these serial images with always two images combining mostly postcards, or one series, or a lot of series of him with postcards. So yeah, like in the other videos, we looked at different artists who inspired us.
He mostly combines portraits and landscape, so to create some serial collages. I can see.
So after we made all these analog collages, we again scanned them and put them in the computer, and then we actually thought of editing them, and we did a first cut, and then decided to leave out all the colorful backgrounds. And also we made this actually. That's a towel, and we actually planned, like we bought it in the internet. We ordered it in the internet, and then it arrived a bit too late, and then also it was cut on the bottom, and we thought, okay, it's not that great like we thought, because in the end we actually always again tried to make this leaving the postcard world and then making a zoom out of the postcard world into the real world. And we plan to make a photograph on the beach with this paper, with this towel on the beach, maybe even the musician lying on there, but then we decided maybe that's too crazy. And we didn't, but it was again this idea of, like in Fratzengoulash, in the end you see the full room, or also with the maps, in the end you see the full collage. We also plan to, okay, in the end you see a postcard on a towel, on a postcard place, but in real. So, but we didn't. But what we did, you will see now in the video. Yeah, thank you again. So we end with this.
Let's just put 2 more chairs here. And I will bring them. Can bring back Janie as well. No? Okay, good. And
Oh,
if she's back, then we.
She's gone.
There
Hi.
she is. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Maybe you put her on the screen.
Yes.
Yeah, on the big screen.
But little. Put me little on the big. Oh no, not that big.
You look great.
I'll move back. Oh, that's worse there.
I think that's the worst thing about the Zoom era is that we always have to take a look at ourselves, actually.
Why it is so bad?
I don't know. I don't like to see myself either. I can understand. I don't know. I want to take a look at you.
Right.
Maybe we start just to sum up a little bit from yesterday and what we have seen today. When you have always the music in the beginning. So in a way, the band members, they give you the length and free space for the visuals. And of course, there's contract also, but there's dialogue on different. Maybe we can describe this dialogue between the band and you on these different layers more exactly, because you are if you have, for example, this inspiration with the maps.
Yes.
Maybe you can describe that a little bit how.
I
it
think
worked.
that was a special kind of collaboration again because Jakobus is known so well and he's already a painter and an artist, and we came up with the idea to work with maps, and then they actually, it's not, the album is not only called Emancipation in the Woods, but they moved to the woods, so he was someplace else, and we were communicating by emails and sent us pictures, and he did the collage by himself, and we suddenly had this, and that was nice, a nice beginning to work with the video. So yeah.
Yeah, I think in the beginning we actually met once and discussed the first impulse, like, okay, the name of the song is "Where Are You From?" and maybe that could fit to maps because it's a question of place and notation of the world, and I think then we separated again, right? I think we looked at other artists working with maps and then like trying to tune in to have an idea what it could look like or be, and then we separated again, and each department or each, like Jakobus and us, started working, and then we exchanged via email.
But the idea was clear that we use with old maps or maps, and we cut them and assemble them together, and then to create a new kind of word or a surrealistic word where we question like borders or. But we reckoned throughout the process, we found out that if it's too detailed and you tell a story with like different cities next to each other, that it didn't work with the music because you already hear lyrics as well. So we had to get more graphical and more abstract in a way. Yeah.
Yeah. And also we talked about like the meaning of the song, because I mean that's always what's first, the song, and the artists already have an impression what they actually trying to describe in the song. And I mean sometimes I mean hopefully a lot of people think a lot of different things about a song, so it's open for interpretation, but it's always interesting to talk with the musicians about their intentions of the song. And that's also why we read the text of ABBA, because like she describes in the text, it's like not, the song is asking where are you from, but it's not about a specific person and the replacement of that person or something, but it's more about actually where does the inspiration comes from, where is art coming from, what is art actually in the song or music is a place to hide or to go or to imagine, or it's actually a physical space. And that came out talking to them, and that was an interesting to imagine or to hear from her. Yeah.
And maybe you can describe the production process a little bit more in detail, because we were asking us if sometimes you told us yesterday you have only 4 weeks of production schedule.
Yes.
And maybe this is one of the reasons you are working with still images, or at least with found footage, and then still images.
No.
but-
I think. Sorry, but to work with found footage in a way makes things easier. But you have to come up with pictures, go to archives, look at eBay if you come up with the idea to work with postcards, because that eBay is an archive. It just, things get sold there, and but you can use it as an archive. But it all takes time to find this footage if you don't already have found it somewhere, or so I wouldn't say that found footage, but the process is always 3 to 4 weeks, and it's nice kind of to have a certain goal and just a time span. This is where you have to get this finished, but it's also a pain because it's too short of time to make a film. So it's kind of both, and
Yeah, and also, I mean, working in the field of music video is kind of like the music comes first and then comes the image, and we always try not to make an illustration of the music, but to make a own level, or to have actually two pieces which communicate, and both are hopefully same how to say equal or worth. So it's not one is higher and the other is following, but it's more like a discussion or
a dialogue.
a dialogue
Yeah.
between those two levels, or these two
Waves, maybe.
waves, or images, or piece of arts or something. And I mean, the still image is kind of a alien in the film world, I always feel, because actually it's not the place for the still image, actually, the film world, because it's a still. It's for made for other purposes, but then it comes into the moving image world, and it's kind of a refugee in a way, or finding its new space. And I think this alienated, or this alien piece of image can grow in that new world, because it in a way it's also free, or has own rules or own dynamics. And I always like that of still image. I just thought today and yesterday that's actually special about the still image, because it's
I just wanted to make some remarks for the found footage, that you actually have to search for the footage before you will find the footage. So, and but then when you found the footage, then you create something which relates to your question about the archive. So, well, there are obviously many different types of archives. The one is which was created by a natural need of store some stuff, which relates mostly to ownership and stuff like that. But it's rather interesting. The other kind of archives, like the archive of Abbey Warburg, who actually were searching for the footage of his archive, right? And he put it together in the end, and I think 70-something tableaus, where he could create a new meaning for the footage that he found. So I think that this kind of work that you are describing is rather something that you search for the footage, then when you found it, then you will create an archive, and then you will interpret it in a way as you did. And what I really appreciated actually when you drew the different lines between the different pictures, which actually does not make very often any sense, but it looks beautifully.
Yeah, there's also an utopia inside, no? Because to create your own world, to put Hamburg on the borders of, I don't know, the Yukon or something. So there is this kind of creating your own space with the materials which come off very often from industrial context. And we've talked about maps before, but as a mean of control and controlling a territory. But here it's different because it is included in a different subversive idea. It could be wandering around, it could be traveling, it could be exploring, and it could be also fantasy. No? So it's a hymn to the fantasy of the inspiration, which is the inspiration for music also in the
It's
song.
a place for interaction, actually. It's not a rule, it's not a restriction, it's more like a possibility to take the footage and then do something out of it.
And it relates also to Jenny's work, because she is also working very often with images by chance, putting things together. Or she was talking about the possibility to superimpose, which she did in the very beginning with the 16mm camera, I guess, that you just rewind it and shoot it again. So there is just the pure chance. But the interesting thing is that if you use that kind of method, like you do it actually also with your many different images, then you can find something which you actually did not expect. So the chance is a very interesting thing, a very interesting chance to create something, to discover something.
Yeah.
That's like when you look at, when I was a kid, I looked at Italy, and it looks like a shoe or like a boot. And in this example, when you look at maps and you have to, it's like a kind of a reduction, or you make it a little bit more naive, or look at just at forms or colors, and then you put something together, and then you look at later you look at it, and suddenly Paris is next to, I don't know, Panama or something, and then you think about it again. What does that mean, or what are borders for, or what I mean? You come back to reality in a sense, or to a reflection of this stupidity or this simple look that you had at the time when you did the collage. So it's like, a step back and then forth again.
I would call it chance for cognition. Sorry.
Yeah.
How chance for recognition?
Utopian. Yeah.
Cognition. That's enough.
Jenny, do you want to add something? Or?
Well, I'm very intrigued by the performance of the film. And like when you're talking about how you made the film and you're moving these images for us, it's such a performance. And I also like your voices in that process. And I wonder, do you ever make work that doesn't start with the music, or that is more you as telling a story or narrating something while you're moving these images? Because it's a beautiful kind of task performance where it's sort of egoless, because you're focused. It's like puppetry. You're focused on the objects that you're moving, and it removes sort of the actor brain of the performers. Anyway, that's my question.
Of course. We don't only do music videos. Still, we love it. But and this performance setup we're doing here, I developed with the secret agency, my performance collective, and I'm using it already for a long time. And I also did a performance which is just made for this technique, and it's like a technique, and it finds different ways of use. and we thought, we have so much footage, like really analog footage, from the process of production from the music videos. So we use this technique to show the masterclass. And also, I think what I especially like about that moment is if you're in the room where it's actually made, you see how the image is made, and that's always nice. So you see the digital image, but you also see how it's made. And I also with children, it works great because they love it. They really think it's magic.
And I make films too as well, and I did one film about my father which uses photographs of him, and like one half of it is a photo film, I could say. The other one is a Super 8 that I spread those pictures with my own Super 8 films, and then I tried to make a photo film by randomly picked up photos. And I think this is really hard, and that's what you do so well, because first, it's so strange, photographs don't come with sound at all. So it's just this picture that can move you, and you can look at it, and you have to figure out what is behind this picture if you don't know the person displayed. And my idea was once to make a film and put them all together and just find my own story. And I personally found it really hard to start this. Music helps you a lot, I mean, because you have a context, you have a rhythm. What you said, rhythm is really that's for me. This was hard, and I think this is what you do really well, putting the sounds in there and even doing your own music to these pictures, and then this all comes together. But for me, this was hard. Maybe someday I can put something together again. Yeah.
But I also thought today maybe it would be nice to record a music video with this live technique, that we don't put the analog stuff in the computer and then animate it, but we could also, inspired by your analog animation and the light table, I thought maybe we could do an analog animation once.
Yeah.
Just thought.
Like a light show kind of thing, or a
No, like we did, but not digital, but staying in the analog.
Right,
Yeah, I mean,
that can be the final form.
Yeah, that could be nice.
Yeah, because Kadi does this a lot. This was the first time for me. I thought it was it was fun to make a little performance.
Yeah, and
I love the fact that it's a little bit out of sync. So if I watched it, I could see that you were much faster than the thing appeared on the screen, and this is a very interesting sensation.
Ah, okay.
I wanted to add to the musicality, because actually Janie is talking about the musicality of structuring her films, and this goes into direction of the films like Ruthmann did with these optic symphonies, you know, the
music.
Yeah, optical music, you know, where it was silent film, but still it was structured like symphonic acts, you know, and so that also helps. Like, for example, when we do photo films and you have this photo and it has no duration, you know, it can has any duration, you know. So actually, I see, for example, Janie, that the durations you choose, how long a picture is in the frame, it is never there for 5 seconds or 10 seconds. So you have a kind of set of durations, you know. And I see, for example, your game with time and duration has a lot to do with the subject of the 2 photo films, and this is this kind of traveling and discovering, because actually you use this traveling, the traveling over the pictures in all 4 videos you have shown to us, you know. So how do you develop this kind of rhythm with the travelings?
The natural feeling.
Listening to the song jogging, and I don't know. It's now we try out things, how the rhythm, how pictures and rhythm work. Yeah. And
it's a flow of like how that's kind of a style or something, or like there's a way how we do it and there's a way how Janie does it. So you kind of repeat your techniques, I would say, and then try to find new ways and little differences. But yeah, that's the way how we do it. Are there questions
I think
from
it
the
has a lot
audience?
to do. Oh,
Also,
I was going to say, just it has a lot to do with the body, like each person's body and your own kind of body rhythms and how you move. That comes out because all of this is an extension of your particular body.
Yeah, and the feeling for rhythms and, okay, now I need a change, now I need a cut, or now I need a floating image or tracking shot or something. Yeah, I think so too. It's really body feeling.
so we have a question from the audience.
Yes, I'm very interested in how you both are working together. So, do you have if you have a project and 4 weeks, that's not a lot. Yeah, how do somebody have a special part or plays a special part? Yeah.
Yeah, of course we.
Um, I
It's really difficult to describe, I would
Sorry.
say,
No,
but
we-
let's try.
No, we I think from the I said this yesterday. I think a little bit, but I can. I think we're different, kind of. And Kati is a lot of works with materials and studied art in a way and made paintings as well and does costumes and. But we're both filmmakers, and I think after 10 years now we kind of learn from each other in a way, and we can do. I can't do costumes, and I still can't draw or paint, but
Me neither.
but you can edit and everything, and so. But I think there's a contrast, and always we need to discuss a lot of things, and but we know in the right time when we to trust the other one. When we don't have time, you do it or something. I don't. It's hard to explain actually.
Yeah, I
because
think
it's
I would say I'm like visually, like I'm a very visual, and also rhythm or like feelings are more my topic, I would say. And Timo is more a logical thinker, and is also really good with technique and really precise. And I think we then working together for 10 years, I learned a bit more being precise, and he learned a bit more to let it loose, maybe something like that. But yeah,
But is it more like forth and back, so that
no,
perhaps
it's more
you
like
start?
okay, maybe we just for making the postcards, we met in my studio, which was a big room in that time, and we really like started. Okay, these are the postcards. We bought them online. We had like a big package of postcards, and we just put them on the table and on the ground, and then we started just gluing, or like
you did.
putting. No, you did too. And then we thought, okay, we need actually a colorful background, so we started going to the shop, bought the background, came back, ate, glued, and worked like for a weekend. I think we knew, okay, this weekend we just do this. So we live and work and eat and glue and scan.
Okay, so you
and
shared
then we
also
put
one space,
everything in
so-
the computer.
Yeah.
So you are at one space.
But
in one.
actually, that's a hard question because we do this for 10 years now, and it's not really reflected so well
I ask
because
it
we
because-
just do it.
But yeah, now we even moved in. I moved to where the Auge Altena office is. So now we even have 2 rooms in 1 floor. So now we can even decide if we go to Timo's place or my place. But we have like this area now where we can work, and he has the better computer than me. So of course, if once we are in the computer, we go to his space. But before I have the better scissors and the better glue, we are in my space. Something like that.
Okay.
I mean, if you really want to know.
No, it's cool. But this Auge thing, that is your company or the?
Yeah.
It's not really a company, but
No, it has no legal status, or it's just once we were in the office once and we needed a name because it was, and then we had just one night to think of a name, and that was like there was a Greenpeace in there, and everything sounded so official but regional. So we thought we're just Auge Altena, Altena, but that's the place where we live, And so, and this kind of sticked to us because then we were.
It
you
was
kn-
actually also sorry if
Yeah.
I interrupt you,
No.
but it was also the moment when a third person came joining us,
Yeah.
because we were starting to work for this German band Deichkind, and they also had another person in the video section, so suddenly we were three, and we also, that was the moment actually when we got the first office.
Yeah.
And so suddenly we were this group, not only Timo and me, who both are individually artists alongside the cooperation, but we suddenly were Timo, Kati, and Uwe. So we were three people and also working in this big group Deichkind. So it was good to actually have a name for the three of us, because then we also worked with other artists, but and change positions and stuff. But actually, it started because we were three suddenly.
And it's not a collective; it's more like an alliance or something. So it's just filmmakers helping each other.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the other videos, just some small ideas, because you described it as the postcard film. No? It is archive material, stock pictures and archive music also. No? So, and but this is this appropriation art, no? Where you have industrial objects and you make something else from it.
Yeah.
For example, I remember also the Panini picture film. No? It's made out of these Panini pictures of footballers.
Yes, we
No? And
made
the series, this strange structures of series of.
Yeah, that's kind of why I said probably eBay was the place to go because and that's where you shop, because there were no flea market during Corona. And it's nice to when I go through Hamburg, go through the Elbtunnel, and you pass the containers that are in the harbor, and you look outside and you see all the containers. Sometimes there's this, what are we doing here moment? Or, you know, when you get all this commercial container all put together, and then you kind of think of how do we live or anything. It's question yourself. And I think when you work with material like postcards, and then you think about the concept of vacations, tourism, where do you go? Everything looks the same, but it feels very individual, and so on. And the Panini bill pictures was a video for Deichkind. Panini pictures is a collector's thing. I think that's with baseball and football as well in America, but it's for soccer here in Germany. And we did a video just out of these stickers, and they are normally sorted by nation. So you have Italy, and then we threw away this kind of sorting, and we sorted them by haircuts or other things. That was the video, yeah. And I think by doing that and using commercial material, it can lead to a political statement.
Yeah. That's the interesting part of your work, because on first glance you can say, okay, there are video clips and there's some imaginary around, but very often they're very political, because you have rules. You develop your own rules for each film, and you have political topics which are dealt in the maps, for example, and how you choose them. And so this is the interesting part, that how did you appropriate really this stuff, which is industrial photography to earn money, but you make something else of it in the collage already, in the collecting, in the
Finding different connections, like you did, matching lines, resorting the material in different orders and orders you find. So actually it's 9 o'clock already. So is there any more questions from the audience? No? So maybe a final remark, like an outlook. What are you working on? What are the next Photofilm projects we can present?
I can start because I don't know. Actually, now I'm working on a different kind of film. That's something to do with pictures in the night and with animals. But I'm sure there'll be a photo film soon. Or later.
Yeah, I just released my last video last week and I'm really tired because of that. But being here and talking so much about photo films, I got really inspired too.
Yeah.
Working again, or like I have some new thoughts or aspects in my brain. So I was really inspired by Janie's work and by our discussion. So thanks a lot.
Yeah, so thank you for being with us, and also
Janie,
Janie?
what are you working on? What is your next project?
There's a garbage truck outside. I'm sorry if it's noisy.
Janie is
I
moving
have a couple
also.
of, yes, there's boxes everywhere. I have a couple of little films I've been working on. One is there's a barber shop in a neighborhood near me that has grids of pictures of people with haircuts that fill the whole front window. So I've been shooting those with my phone in real time, because also the glass reflects what's across the street with cars and people going by. But then I also started shooting hair. Like I got some linoleum and put it under my camera and cut some of my hair and let it fall on it. So I'm collecting different kinds of hair to shoot for that part. It's just going to be a little film, very small film.
Okay.
It would call. She would call it hair. You would call this film hair?
I have no. Actually, it's called Casanova #2 because that's the name of the hair salon.
Ah, okay.
Can't
Okay.
beat that.
Casanova wore a wig, didn't he?
So it doesn't relate to this film of the 70s. No, doesn't relate
No.
to 4 months. I know that was late 60s, early 70s here. That there was another aspect of it. Okay, so thank you.
You mean the performance where everybody's naked on the stage?
I think so, yeah.
That was hair. Yeah. No, that's not it.
Okay, so thank you very much.
It was nice meeting you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you, Janie.
Thank you. Thank you for
being with
questions.
us early in the morning from
It was
Los
great.
Angeles. Thank you, Timo. Thank you, Katharina.
Thanks
you.
for the
Yeah.
invitation.
And hopefully we
Yes,
bring out
thank
the
you.
book by the end of the year, and then we send you a print and make a book release.
Yeah.
And we want very much to include also the audio transferred into text and print this in the book. Will be released in English. And yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, and thanks to the festival, because they have this great rooms for us, and the technicians and everyone did everything that our small conversation here will be something interesting for the future and will stay in the internet. No? We will maybe in beginning of August already we have it. I don't know, but hopefully we have it there, and then you will can see it again. And not you, but the other people. Okay. So bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Jenny. Yeah. Ciao.
Ciao. Thank you,
Ciao.
everybody.
Bye.